No intro. We got things to discuss here. In case you haven't heard by now, the U.S. men's national team lost 2-1 to Trinidad and Tobago on Tuesday night, ending our World Cup bid. That's it, guys. We're out of the World Cup. We're not going to be there next year. It's going to be no U.S. men's national team to cheer on, no epic 14 save game from Tim Howard, no heroics from Julian Green, none of that stuff. We're not going to be in the World Cup, guys, and this is a very big deal. Something that got me really upset. I want to make this video like yesterday and even the day before, but I was just too upset to make it. I had to really calm down and process this whole thing and what this means as a whole for US soccer. But before I get into all of that, I want to talk about the game itself first. We were playing Trinidad and Tobago's B team, not the A team, which only won one of its previous 9 games and clearly wasn't going to the World Cup. We were playing the B team. The manager decided to play the kids just to see what they have so they can retool and rebuild for next cycle, but we couldn't even beat that team. How are we going to beat the Belgiums and the Spains and the Frances of the world when we can't even beat a team that has a population the size of Maine? I mean, come on. And it's not that the Trinidad and Tobago players are better than ours, because let's face it, they're not. We have the much better players on paper, but somehow the whole is worse than some of its parts here, and I don't know if that goes on the coach or the players themselves, but they got to play better. When I see that team, I see a team that is mentally and physically weak. I mean, I know they're playing their second match in like 3 days, so they might have been a little bit tired. It was the same lineup. I thought Arena should have played a different lineup, but he picked the same guys out there. It's because they played well on Friday, and he thought maybe they could do the same thing on Tuesday night, but it just didn't quite happen. But even still, they came out just flat and lethargic and tired, and the pitch might have been in bad conditions, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're playing, you know, in the best stadium in the world or the worst. You got to play your game, and they didn't do that. They shrunk in the moment, and they look like a deer caught in headlights out there. I mean, look like Omar Gonzalez after he scored that own goal. The dude wasn't the same. The dude was shook. And, you know, like, right after that, he almost gave away a penalty. He almost gave away a penalty that should have been called, but fortunately the ref didn't call it. But that could have ended the game right there. And you look at Michael Bradley towards the end of the game, just walk in and take the corner kick. What's up with that, man? You are in a fight for your life World Cup qualifying game that decides the future of the United States, and you are going to walk to take a corner kick.
Really? I
can understand if you're up trying to waste time, but you are down. You're losing, last time I checked. Michael Bradley is supposed to be the leader of this team. We keep trying to force him into that position, but it's just not him. He's wearing the armband, but he does it a disservice. He's not someone that galvanized the troops or energized the team the way a Messi does, you know? Messi put the team on his back. He forced them into the World Cup. He wasn't going to have it any other way. And I know Michael Bradley's not a goal scorer. He's not supposed to be, but I think the least he could do is to get this team playing the way that it should be playing. And unfortunately, they're not doing that right now. I think we really need a strong alpha personality in this locker room who's going to get the guys in order. You know, someone like a Landon Donovan or a Clint Dempsey, although the latter's a little bit too old for that right now, especially coming off the bench. But we need someone like that to lead us moving forward, and I think Christian Pulisic is going to be that guy for us, but at 19 years old, he's not quite there yet. But still, there's just a generational gap. You know, you got the Clint Dempseys and the Tim Howards and stuff, and then we have the younger guys like Kellen Acosta and Christian Pulisic, but where's the guy in between us to bridge that gap? We haven't had that, and that's been one of our big problems. Now on to the coach. Bruce Arena, you had one job to do. One job, and you failed. This is a perfect example of why you never get back together with your ex, because no matter how much you think it might, it never works out. Bruce Arena's like that one drunk uncle who thinks a little bit too high of himself. Like, oh yeah, I would have totally dropped 50 on LeBron back in the day. And then your aunt chimes in like, Bruce, your son just beat you in 101 last week. Stop playing. Just the other day, Bruce Arena was talking about how, oh, I would love to see one of those hotshot teams from Europe come here and CONCACAF and see what that's all about. Well, Bruce Arena, those teams will walk all over CONCACAF. Now, in fairness to him, he was talking more about the weather and the conditions of the pitch and that kind of thing, not necessarily the quality of play, but even still, man, you think we've got it rough. Did you see the pitch that Belgium played on in Bosnia? Taylor Twellman called it a cow pasture, and I think it directly contributed to Fellaini's injury. I mean, that thing was worse than anything we've ever seen, and they got it done. They didn't sit around making excuses, they just did the business. That's what we should have done. They qualified a long time ago, and why couldn't we? We should have had no trouble at all qualifying in a group with, I mean, I know we got Mexico, but I mean, Panama, Costa Rica, Trinidad and Tobago, Honduras, like, why are we struggling in that group? There's no excuse for that. Bruce Arena, I know you resigned just today, but as far as I'm concerned, you're 2 days late and $1 short. You gotta go. Alright, Alright, so we looked at the players and now the coach, but now we gotta go all the way to the top. The head honcho himself, Sunil Gulati, president of US Soccer Federation since 2006. And right off the bat, I mean, we change our US presidents every 4 or at maximum 8 years, but this guy's been in charge for 11 years, man. I mean, that alone, it's already time for us to find a new person. We need you need a new vision every now and again. And I think it's showing now. He's run his course. I mean, I give him credit for he really expanded the U.S. men's program and stuff like that. I mean, we're a lot richer now. There's a lot more money in the game. You got a lot of big corporate sponsors from Nike and Coca-Cola, stuff like that. But where's all that money gotten us? This is a results-oriented business, and if you do not get results, you gotta go. It's as simple as that. Now, the women's team has gotten results in the past. I mean, they won the World Cups and stuff, and they've been one of the best teams in the world, but recently they've shown cracks in their armor. The last Olympics in 2016, they crashed out early. It was an awful performance from them. And going back to the men's team, the U23s haven't even qualified for the last 2 Olympics. So what's up with that? They're not getting valuable experience that they need, against top national teams that's going to carry over to the senior team. Our guys need that experience and time playing together against top-notch competition if they want to be the best they can be, and they're not getting that. It should have been a much bigger deal when we failed to qualify for the Olympics in back-to-back cycles, and it wasn't. We didn't make the Confederations Cup, no big deal. We were 4th place in the Gold Cup 2015. Again, these are warning signs all over the place. It's no big deal. We forgot about it in a couple of weeks. So we can't keep sweeping this stuff under the rug and pretend like there's no problem there, because as you see, we have a serious problem that we got to address. From my perspective, these problems start with the president, Sunil Gulati. There's just a lack of accountability, a lack of responsibility, and an air of arrogance throughout the team. And we saw that in Jurgen Klinsmann, whom we hired and made technical director, which was way too much. And then he gave him a contract extension before the World Cup when he hadn't even proven anything yet. I think after the game, Sunil Gulati was quoted saying something along the lines of, "You don't make large sweeping changes based on the ball being 2 inches in or 2 inches wide," which I assume refers to Clint Dempsey hitting the post. But this game should have been a do-or-die game in the first place. We should have qualified a long time ago, but that's beside the point. The point is that Gulati's made too many mistakes now. The last couple managers he brought in have been absolute failures. They have not met their goals. The youth system is still a pay-for-play disaster. The things that just have not been going well for us. We should be a lot further than we are right now as a nation of 300 million plus people. We should be able to field 24 players who can compete on the world stage and and do great things. I know we're not a soccer nation. I know soccer is probably the 5th or so most popular sport in this country, but you can't tell me we can't find 20 people or so that can play soccer at a high level. I don't buy that. Sunil Gulati's up for re-election in February, but I don't think he should wait that long. I think he should resign immediately. Alright, so now that we've divvied out the blame, I want to talk about what this means for us and how we should progress moving forward. Now, this is a pretty big deal, as I'm sure you guys can imagine. It's, for the most part, it's the guys, the sports pros. It's oh, soccer's stupid. This is a football country. Those are guys that don't truly understand what this means. And it's really sad, that we don't have a greater appreciation for the beautiful game. It's the world sport, and that's one of the things I like about it. It doesn't matter what language you speak. It doesn't matter your race, your ethnicity, your sexual orientation. None of that stuff matters. The only thing that matters is, do you play the game? Do you love the game? Because that brings everyone together. And I think that's such a beautiful thing, especially in these divided times we live in. We need something like that that's going to unify the country. I remember back to the World Cup of 2014 when bars across the country stuff were playing the game and people were walking in just to watch the game and cheer the USA on. That was a really big deal. People that wouldn't ordinarily speak to each other, let alone sit down and watch a game together. People that knew nothing about soccer were coming together just to watch the game. It was a beautiful thing to watch, and I love that that united us in that way. And it's sad that we won't get to have that experience next year. We might tune in, but the average non-soccer fan is not going to watch Italy or Spain or whoever's in there. They're not going to watch them play. It's not about them. It was about the USA, and if we're not there, the casual guy's not going to tune in. That's a very big deal. But I'm even more saddened for the fact that Christian Pulisic is not going to be there, because we absolutely robbed this boy of a chance to shine on the world stage. He's emerged as a superstar, one of the very few ones that we have on the global scale. There's countries, they're talking about him in Germany and Spain. There's really a great spotlight on this kid, and he absolutely should have the chance to shine in the World Cup to show what he can do to a global audience, and he's not going to get that opportunity now, not until 2022, but he's going to be a bit older by then. By that point, you know, he's going to be playing his first World Cup when a lot of guys are going to be playing their second, so he's already going to be a step behind, and I feel bad for him. We absolutely robbed this poor boy. Did not deserve that. He's been like the best player by far in the team. You know, even in our bad performance, even like on Tuesday night, he was the best player on the field, the only one that really did us justice. And my heart goes out to him, and it's really not fair. But I take this whole thing missing out seriously, more so than most, because the World Cup 2014 is what got me into soccer. Like, I didn't even like soccer before then. I was like one of the guys like, soccer, I don't really care about it that much. But 2014, I mean, seeing the run we made out the group of death, and then the game against Belgium, Tim had like 14 saves, and it was amazing. I was mesmerized by the game. I was mesmerized by just what it meant and stuff, and how we just came together for that. And I was instantly hooked on it. I wish I discovered it sooner, but you know, I think about how I got into 2014. But you know, the kids out there like me today, they're not gonna get that same opportunity. They can watch the games, but the guys that are girls that are into it, they're not gonna watch it like that. So I feel bad for the situation as a whole. It's really messed up and stuff, but you know, it's not something that's insurmountable. It's a setback that's gonna definitely put us back a few years, maybe a generation even, but you know, we can overcome this. I look at like Germany and stuff a while back, and how they were in a bad spot a while ago, but you know, they all came together as a whole. The Bundesliga 2, just everything. They came together, their soccer federation, and said, you know what, we're not going to do this again. We're not going to repeat this same mistake. We're going to do better next time. That's what they did. They ended up winning the World Cup like pretty soon after that. I think we can do that. I'm not saying we can win the World Cup like, you know, that quickly, but I think if we all come together as a nation, we can overcome these challenges. We have the people, we have the money, we have the kids out there, but we just got to get them to where they need to be. This is going to be a rough 4 to 5 years here. The night is dark and full of terrors, but I think we can get through this and see the light the next day. Alright, so what do we need to do going forward? Well, I think the first step is quite obvious. Gotta get rid of Busarin, who stepped down today, as well as Sunan Galati, who I assume will be gone by February. But after that, we gotta evaluate every single position in US soccer. We need to see who's performing and who's not. Now, I know a lot of people are calling for just widespread, just fire everybody, but you know, I think some people are actually doing an okay job in US soccer, but we need to identify who is and who isn't. And the ones who aren't, they gotta go. The next thing we need to do is get rid of this pay-for-play system in the United States. I think families on average spending about $2,500 a year for youth leagues, and that's frankly way too high. Soccer can't be seen as a sport only for the suburban middle-class kids. It needs to be accessible to everybody. We look at the top athletes in the world, be it global soccer icons or football players, basketball players. Most of these guys come from urban and working class backgrounds, and soccer should be no different in the United States. We gotta get everybody involved if we're gonna succeed in the future. And for this next one, I'm gonna let my man KRS1 take over. Gotta have style, we gotta be original. What is our style? Looking at the team over the past few years, I haven't been able to identify that. When you look at some of the top teams around the world like Italy and Brazil, you can clearly see the kind of style they like to play. Now, it might not always come off for them, but they're gonna stick to their game plan, and we just don't do that. We try to switch out our lineups too much and our formations, and it's just a jumbled mess, and nothing is working for us right now. Now, as a fan of Major League Soccer, this next one really hurts me to say, but it's the truth. Our top international players gotta play somewhere else. As much as I enjoy watching the league, it just can't provide the same level of competition as the Premier League or the Bundesliga, Serie A, etc. I mean, you look at like Michael Bradley, he was fighting for his soccer life at Roma. And even though he wasn't playing all that often, he was still training and playing with world-class players on a consistent basis, and I think that made him a better player. But now that he's come back to Major League Soccer, he hasn't had to work as hard. His spot on the team is guaranteed, he's getting paid all this money, and what does he have to prove now? Countries like Argentina, Brazil, Belgium, they might not have the top domestic soccer leagues, but they're some of the best international teams in the game. And the reason is that they export their players to other leagues where they can grow and then take their skills they learn back to their own national teams. Above all else, I think the three biggest things we need are kind of like I mentioned earlier: accountability, responsibility, and some humility. Hopefully this arrogant attitude that the team has displayed recently fades, as they're going to be on the couch watching the World Cup just like us. Like Kendrick Lamar says, sit down, be humble. Now I know this video is a bit of a downer, and these are indeed dark times we live in, But think about how close we were to qualify for the World Cup. I mean, we were this close. Think about all the stuff that had to happen for us not to make it. I mean, first of all, Alvin Jones hit the shot of his life. He will never again hit a shot that good. It's like from 35 yards out. He had absolutely no business taking that shot. No business at all. They could have easily went down and worked it around, found a slightly better shot, but he pulls up from like Steph Curry range and just bangs it in. I can't even be that mad at him. I mean, Tim Howard probably should have done better on it, but it was a good shot though. Hats off to him. Omar Gonzalez scored what's probably the worst own goal I've ever seen. That own goal is going to haunt him for the rest of his life. And like Chris Wondolowski, no matter what he does from here on out, he's always going to be associated with that one poor moment. On top of that, Honduras edged out Mexico with the goal that bounced off the keeper's head and went in. I mean, how often does that happen? And then Panama had a goal that the referee counted, but as you can see, it clearly did not cross the line. It should not have been a goal, but they counted it as a goal anyway. I know Panamanians must have been sitting at home watching the game like, I believe we can get through this, guys, and emerge stronger and better than ever. But what do you guys think? I want to know. Sound off in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up icon if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that bell icon to get notified whenever I make a new video. Yeah, definitely stay tuned, and I will see you guys next time.